What's up, everyone? All you scalers, hobbyists, and just YouTube enthusiasts, welcome to another edition of Figure This, Figure That, the Don's Figure Chat. Today has been a day long coming. I don't know if you know it, but if you've seen any of my other videos about Django or Wyatt Earp, you know I'm a Western maniac. Louis Moore, JT Edson, I've got them all. So it was with great pleasure that I finally got my Limtoysthegunslinger today. I've got him in the classic reach for your iron pilgrim pose, where he's just about to draw and someone's going to die. The level of this figure is just phenomenal. I can't even say the word. All his accessories are top notch. The quality is amazing. The clothing is spot on. It feels right. It feels right for the period. All the leather work is leather and not pleather. You come down. He's got two pairs of boots. These are the ones with the spurs on. Comes in two parts. And then he arrives with those babies. Accessories galore, but I'll go into that just now. He comes in a dope art box, really, really nice. I think it's to signify the back of a playing card, if I'm not mistaken. It's like a gambler, you know. You come down here, you get a whole load of gloved hands, a whole load of flesh hands, and the paint app is fantastic. Look at the veins coming out the back of the hands. Limtoys have really done this figure justice, eh? And I've got to say a big shout out to TNS for getting him to me safe and sound. And yeah, it's been a long wait. 3 years. He comes with real rope. Those two black things you see are the adapters to fit on the neck peg. He comes with a Molotov cocktail, two pieces of dynamite, a fob watch, pencil, and those star-looking things are the rowels off the back of his spurs. But they're very dainty and very easy to lose, so I'm not putting them on. He comes with a sheriff's badge and a dope way of attaching it via a magnet that's sitting underneath it. This they call their tote bag, their war bag. That's what they put all their personal effects in when they're riding across prairies, from town to town, you name it. He's got a throwing knife there. He's got a kerchief for when he's robbing banks. Big difference from when he was a sheriff. The notepad in a leather-bound journal has got every page is filled with detail. He comes with a brace of sawn-offs. He's got, I think that's a bottle of Fix-It-All. You know what they used to peddle back in the days from town to town, cures all ailments. He's got a pack of playing cards. And according to the game, and some of the lads I've spoken to, this is supposed to be some, I don't know, some medicine he's picked up. This thing in the jar, in the glass jar that I'm facing here. But to me, it looks like a pair of testicles. Let's see if I can get from the side. So I've been asking all the guys who play the game, why is he carrying a guy's testes around? And they assure me it's not testes, but look at it. That's testes. The weathering on the boots, the weathering on his outfit, really top class. Here's his stand. He comes with a removable log fire. He's got his pan and grill with his old coffee cup and coffee, what are those called? Shit. Yeah, you forget stupid things, eh? You got the gunslinger on the front, although it does say the outlaw on the box. These here, the first Winchesters that came into effect out in the West were called yellow boys, old yellow boys, because of the brass breech. That top plate lifts off. You can see all the inner workings, which is a really nice touch. The wood looks like, oh, it's just really, really beautiful. It's been well worth the wait. It really has. When you face with something like this, when you open the box, it's just, oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. He comes with a lantern that actually lights up. There he's got a whole passel of dynamite. And here's the other head sculpts. There's the bearded head sculpt. There's the clean shaven head sculpt. Two of the hair pieces you can wear the hat with. This one he's got at the moment, this head sculpt here, is the one from 1/6 Kit Chen. You buy it to go along with the figure. These were announced quite a while ago, and I've had the head sculpt for months, and I've been waiting for the figure. He comes with a leather bandolier with shotgun shells that you put in. He's got a neck chief on there. The collar at the top there is wired for certain, do you want to show his hairy chest or whatever. He's got a nice pair of braces on. I don't think you can see those. You'll have to wait for posers coming along. He comes with two Colt Peacemakers. Beautiful weapons. They say it was the weapon that tamed the West. He's got his big 45 slugs in his gun belt. And yeah, everything's just such a nice touch, the way they've gone about it. The weathering on the trousers, on his knees. And even down to the material, you actually feel like you've stepped back in time when you have this figure in your hand and you playing with, just moving him about. The material feels so accurate for the time. Not that I would know what it feels like, but after reading so many Westerns, you get a feel of what cowboys were wearing, and what they were made out of. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful piece. I'm over the moon, eh? I'm over the moon. Anyway, he also comes with this Sherpa-lined jacket for when he's out in the wintry snows. So you can imagine that first head sculpt on the torso would be for when he's in town, clean shaven. He's clean shaven, and that's the head sculpt I would put on him. The bearded sculpt you would put on him in winter when he's wearing the big winter coat, because then he can't be bothered to shave. As I said, excuse me, this one here is called the mid-bearded sculpt. It's from Kit Chen. I'm just over the moon with this figure, eh? I can't wait to start setting up some poses, some gunfights between, well, you'll see. You'll see. I'm not going to spoil it and let you in on the secret. Secret's no secret. So let me just go over his accessories one more time before we get into some posing sessions. You come with the gloved hands, the flesh hands, and by the way, these hands are so easy to change out. Really, really nice, eh? That's actually a very nice touch, easier than Hot Toys. Only time will tell if they'll last, but yeah, very easy to change out. Those two black things are adapters to fit on the neck peg. He gets a real piece of rope, Molotov cocktail, 2 sticks of dynamite, the sheriff badge, his fob watch, his pencil, his rowels for his spurs, his war bag, the throwing knife, the lantern that lights up, and a passel of dynamite. It comes with a journal, leatherback journal, with some interesting sketches in it. He's got that the Old West elixir that fixes any ailment whatsoever. He's got a brace of sawn-offs, pack of playing cards, and I say that's a jar with someone's testes in, but the O's and the O's say no, it's some medicine of some sort. He comes with a Winchester Yellow Boy, which is a very, very dope piece itself. And as I say, the breech plate comes off and you can see the inner workings. He comes with the winter jacket, instruction manual, 2 head sculpts with 3 change out hair pieces. You come over here, he's got the stand with his coffee pot and his cup and a little grill for having a braai, as we call in South Africa, or barbecue they call it here. He's got his pile of logs, and it's actually quite a nice base. It's, you know, almost like a diorama. It's got the gunslinger on the front, but on the art box it says Outlaw. And as I was saying, I've got him in a classic draw position. I think he looks dope like this. And when you look at the rounds, like in this bandolier for the shotgun, they're really nicely done. But these 45 shells in his gun belt, they're little works of art on their own, eh? Really, the level of detail Lim Toys have gone to on this figure is staggering. Really, really nice. Only time will tell if they'll last, you know, to see what the quality is like. And I'm really, really hoping, it feels like it, that the gun belt and the bandolier is made out of like a real leather and not just pleather. So that's a nice touch. The weathering on the outfits is really, really nice. He's got 2 pairs of boots. These are in 2 parts, a shoe and a glove. And then he's got the 1 whole boot, pair of boots. But look at the weathering even on those. They've really gone the extra mile. There you can see one of his pencil sketches open in the journal there. So it's a really nice touch, eh? His kerchief for when he's riding in a sandstorm or robbing the bank. Although I can't see a sheriff robbing the bank, but you never know. And yeah, all in all, you get all this. It's like a Hot Toys DX of old, when you used to get all sorts of goodies in the box. Now you're lucky if you get a figure. And then the piece de resistance is the man himself. And you can see Bucky Barnes, what's his name? Stan Sebastian or something. You can see they've used that to model the face off. It's his double. The hat is a very nice touch. It's really well made. Fits the head properly. You can put it at the right angle. Because if he was in a gunfight, you would just say see his eyes under the rims, under the rim. They do that for two reasons. Obviously the sun glare, and another so that the opponent can't see his eyes to see that flicker when they're going for their gun. It can give them an extra quarter second or, you know, milliseconds to get to the draw quickest. And the gunfights of old, it wasn't really about the speed. It was more about making your bullet count, making that first shot count. So take your time and aim deliberately. Not take your time where it's a stroll in the park, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Speed never killed anybody, unless you've got a case of the slows. But look at that, eh? I feel like I'm on an episode of Bonanza. Remember Bonanza? So I can't wait to get down and dirty with some poses with this bad boy. Because he really is, man. He's a magnificent piece. And so far the articulation has been quite good. I've been able to get him in poses, but I'll only tell once I've got him on his own and there's no distractions for the eye to look at, to see if I get the line right, especially on a figure like this, because if the line's out, he's going to look silly. And he doesn't deserve that, because he's a magnificent piece, eh? He's also got a working blade in a sheath on the back of his shooting iron holster, as well as this throwing knife. And you can see that first hand there in front of the glove is the hand for throwing the knife. And I say the paint app is fantastic on the fleshy hands and on the head sculpts. Really something to behold. Lim Toys, you've done a magnificent job, eh? As I say, well worth the wait. You keep expecting him to shout, "Draw, pilgrim!" Yeah. Lad. Yeah, as I say, 3 years we've been waiting for him. 3 years. And at times, a lot of us gave up, I think. But we persevered, because VTS launched their one. The official, I think they're officially licensed. I'm not too sure. I'd have to look into that. But VTS launched theirs. So a lot of the guys were thinking, just cancel this pre-order and get the VTS one. But a lot of us had already paid for him in installments, pre-orders. You know, it's a lot easier that way. So I'm going to leave you here with Gunslinger just about to call you out. Have you got the cojones to face him? Well, we'll see on the flip side, won't we? Okay, boys and girls, that's me back. We've got the Gunslinger in a walk through town, and he's deferentially doffing his hat to the ladies as he walks by. I've got him with the clean shaven head sculpt on. You just change the hairpiece so you can wear the hat. Still got his kerchief on. This time his bandolier is around his shoulder. Old yellow boy on the other shoulder. 6 guns both holstered. And yeah, he's having a walk through town, trying to see what's up with what's up. I was just saying on the last video how awesome these wrist pegs are to use. You can just pull the hand off and put the new one on. Yeah, the very next pose, I broke the wrist peg. So now I've got a Hot Toys wrist peg in there. That's the one with his hand up on the hat. They don't give you any spares, which I think they should have, because 2 is just, you know, not enough. And they were working so dope, eh? There you can see all the detail on the braces. You can see the shells better, or the ammo I should say. There's the boots, the 2-piece boots with spurs. I don't put the rowels in, they go at the back there. I don't put those in because yeah, they're so easy to lose, man. That's the base. Looks like a bit of mud, a bit of moss, the normal town street. I am really so chuffed with this piece, eh? Everything about him is class. And it just brings all the westerns I've read through my life, it brings them to life, eh? As I say, I can't wait to get him posed up against Django or Wyatt Earp to see who's quicker on the draw. Very easy figure to pose. One drawback, when I took the jacket off, this jacket off, it says in the instruction manual, use tweezers to pull the shirt down. But it's so tight. It's so tight, eh? And it's the sleeves that cover the wrist joints. So I've had the tweezers up there. That sounds kinky. I've had the tweezers up there and I've managed to get them down a bit of the way. But I think this shirt and jacket was put on all at once, if you know what I mean. So I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Take the shirt off, fit it in the arms, and then put the arms through. Yeah, man, he's just so lifelike, eh? And you get a bit of Pierce Brosnan there. Well, I do. In the flesh here, when you see him, like there's just certain features that he looks like Pierce Brosnan. Okay, sorry, don't mean to mock you, Gunslinger. He was James Bond. The collar on top of the shirt is wired. And you can actually get it, the jacket in some dope poses. It was looking very windswept just now, and I changed it back to so we could see the bandolier draped over his shoulder. As the West became more and more civilized, a lot of the towns, the marshals or the sheriff, because sometimes you got a town sheriff and a marshal, they would insist you leave your guns at the sheriff's office. You weren't allowed to walk in town armed. Firstly, because of the gunfights, and secondly, because of the cowboys. They'd come in from a long trail drive, haven't seen civilization for months. They get into a town and they just go a bit bossies, which means a bit mad. Shooting in the air, riding up and down the streets. All in good-natured fun. But for the normal townsfolk, they didn't see it that way. So it was very few and far between as civilization came out to the west, where you could wear your guns in town. There's that old Johnny Cash song, "Don't take your guns to town, boy." You heard it? I couldn't remember the words, otherwise I would have sang it for you. Okay, so that's one pose. Not any strain on the figure. He has got double bend elbows. He's got double bend knees. I'd say one thing though, the trousers are very restrictive. I went for a kneeling pose just now with a Winchester, and yeah, couldn't get it. I'll try again maybe once he's limbered up a bit with the other different poses. So I'll leave yous in the capable hands. I don't even know his name. Morgan, is it? To me, he's just a man called horse. Remember that movie? Richard Harris. Yeah. Spectacular piece, and I'm over the moon to have him. I'll see you with the next pose shortly after the flip. Alright, so I thought we'd start him off with that old classic, looking out to the skyline on the edge of town, just about to start his trip back into the wilderness. Looking very heroic in his stance, looking very relaxed. Again, easy figure to pose. It's just a matter of getting the clothing right and the line of the body. I still see Pierce Brosnan every time I look at him now. So he's got his Winchester 30-30 over his shoulder. He's got his war bag with all his muti in, his elixirs and his medicines and yeah, all his important stuff. His journal will be in there. He's still carrying the double pistols. He's got his throwing knife in his boot. His shotguns are wrapped in his blanket on the back of his saddle, awaiting to take off on the horse. Very, very dope figure to pose, eh? Really. Especially if you're a Western nut like me. The shirt, the jacket. Oh man, I can't go on enough about this figure. They really did. Lim Toys, they did such a stellar job on this piece, eh? He really looks the part. And as I say, I'm a Western nut. So for me to say that, then you must know. Yeah, very, very nice, eh? I love the 45 shells. I think they are just such a nice touch, eh? Oh, I've just seen a shell popped out there. I'll have to get that one back in. So, yeah. As I say, looking out to the skyline. He can't wait to get on his steed, head off into the wilderness to maybe work at a line shack, which is shack up in the high mountains that during winter they stay up there. They hire on as like contractors to protect the animals from predators, rustlers, you name it. Obviously, because in winter the ranch works rather close to home, but they've still got cattle up in the highlands, you know. So his wind's blowing in the jacket, his jacket blowing in the wind, and yeah, looking very heroic, looking like the adventurer himself. Okay, onwards and upwards. Let's try a bit of a gunfighting pose, this one. So maybe he has aggros in town just before he leaves, maybe over a card game, maybe a woman, maybe just some Baden trying to make a reputation for himself. So we'll leave as normal, looking into his eyes. And yeah, I'll see you on the flip. So just before he left town, he was attacked by a couple of hard cases trying to prove a point, and he had to use the fanning technique with his 6-gun to clear them off. He didn't want to kill. All he wanted to do was scare them off. So he fan shot across their bows, so to speak. And look at the size of that hole in the barrel. Can you imagine that thing facing you down? And he really looks good, eh? In any pose, he looks good. His outfit is so authentically Western that it doesn't matter what you do, he looks dope in the pose. A lot of controversy about this technique, the fanning technique. Some say it's impossible to do. Some will prove a point and do it. But it's not accurate at all. You can imagine, I mean, these old peacemakers, they had quite a pull on them, trigger pull. They weren't double action, or were they? I think these were maybe the first double action pistols that hit the frontier. Maybe that's why they were so popular. I'll just do a bit of research about that for the next segment, and I'll let you know. Still got his throwing knife in his boot. He hasn't had to use that. His rowels on the spurs are still packed in his war bag, because he wasn't expecting to get into a gunfight. He was hoping he could have rode out of town without any problems. But as I say, there's always some hard case trying to prove a point, and they always end up dead. In this case though, he just fanned a few shots at them and they buggered off right sharpish. But look at that, eh? Doesn't he look authentic? I think he does. He looks like a real Western dude. With that big bore 45. Yeah, that thing must have made a hole, eh? So his shoulder line's right, his stance is right, crouched down a bit, hunched over at the shoulders, front leg giving him line. Yeah, very, very nice, eh? Let's go out so we can see the full deal. There we go. Come back in. I don't know why I'm telling you what I'm doing. I mean, you can bloody see what I'm doing by just looking at the picture. Oh well. But I'm mightily impressed with this figure, eh? I really am. The barrel rotates. I don't know if the barrel pushes out. I'm too scared to try in case I break it with my concrete fingers. I haven't got that gentle touch. Okay, on and upwards to the next pose, I say. I'm trying to think. Let's go for the mid-beard sculpt. So he's just about to get on the horse. He hasn't shaved for a couple of days because he knows it's going to be difficult to shave up there. He's going to be growing a beard. And yeah, let's get on with it, I say. let's get on with it. So one last glance. Right, Arthur, we'll be seeing you on the flip. I told you, Morgan, we'd have no gunplay in this town. Wyatt, I'm sorry, these lads attacked me. Well, just keep your hands where they are, Morgan. I don't want to have to shoot you. So, just after he fanned his pistol, he was accosted by the town sheriff. So he must be in Deadwood or Tombstone, where Wyatt has got him under the gun. Morgan could face him, but he's quite law-abiding at the best of times. So it's hands up and listen to what Wyatt has to say. He needs to get out of this town before shit starts happening. So I thought I'd just show you a quick little pose with Wyatt and Morgan, or Arthur if you want first name terms. So he must have snuck up behind him while he was in the gunfight. He's pulled his gun on him, and Morgan's known not to antagonize Wyatt. They were always destined to meet, him being sheriff and Morgan being Morgan. So yeah, I think Arthur's glad to get it out the way. You can now rest easy that Wyatt knows that these hard cases are chasing him and looking for shit. So if anything does go down, Wyatt will most probably help him. It's actually a dope little pose, that. It's just nice about having this Foldio studio. You can do shit like this under light. I mean, that looks quite dope. The two of them in the same, sharing the same screen time, so to speak. Again, Morgan was very easy to pose. He's actually a pleasure to work with. Doesn't give no jip, except I broke one of his hand pegs. But I'll blame the hand peg, I don't blame me. But the level of quality, honestly, it's staggering. Especially when it comes to the tailoring and the clothing. It feels so real. It feels as if you've got the actual dude in front of you. Okay, so that's our first gunfight pose. And to be fair, it wasn't really a gunfight. It was more a sneak up behind and tell him to put his hands up and drop the weapon. So I'll leave you here, thinking about what happens next. And I'll see you on the flip. So we start this one off with him up in the mountains, up at his campsite, and he's having his first cup of coffee in the morning. He's put his muti in, and he's standing, looking and deciding which direction to go while he plays with the cocking mechanism of his Winchester. Since he had that running with the owl hoots in Tombstone, he's taken to carrying a waistband gun just in case they try and attack him on the quiet. Plus, you never know, there's Blackfeet in the area and a couple of Sioux. So you just never know when you need to be ready. He's got his roaring campfire with his pot of coffee on the brew. He's got his sleeping roll laid out, using his war bag as a pillow. He's got his sawn-off shotgun under his hat, just in case. You never know when a piece of rope will come in handy. And last night, just before he went to sleep, he was playing cards and taking notes. There you see the bottle of Alexa right next to his war bag. And yeah, this is him in camp, awaiting to take off. As you can see, he's got the mid-bearded sculpt on. He's finished his cup of coffee. He hasn't done up his jacket yet. He's still got to do the horse, rub the horse down, and do his odds and sods. Really, really nice figure, eh? You can have so much fun with this guy. He just lends himself to scenarios, if you know what I mean. He builds his own. I mean, he's got so much stuff. So yeah, he started growing his beard out because it gets bloody cold where he's going. And he can't be shaving every day. It just doesn't work that way. The blue coat has got wires coming down the front of the lapels, so you could pose that. That's a nice touch. Again, he's got the wire in the collar of his shirt, so you can pose those. Yeah, well worth the wait for this figure, eh? Well worth the wait. I know it's not a very heroic pose, but you can't always be heroic, can you? He's a cowboy. He's stopped for the night, camping under the stars, and as I say, having his last cup of Java before he hits the road. If you look at the diorama base he comes with, it's also quite nice. He's got a stand for his coffee pot and also a cooking grill. He's got his logs that he takes with him wherever, instant fire. So that's a luck. And yeah, there's his bedroll. Everything is just so nice about this, eh? Really, you couldn't ask for better from a Western figure. He's got it all down pat. I must admit, I do prefer the head with the hat on, because you can see that join at the front there. I don't know what it's like on the bearded sculpt yet. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, there he is. Winchester on leg, posing the day's travel in his brain. And as I say, carrying the extra waistband weapon, which is a Dracoon Colt. It's the old powder burns. So yeah, this was the weapon of choice before the Peacemaker came out with the cartridges. This was still loaded powder and ball. A 44 ball, which leaves a sizable hole in you. So those owl hoots better be careful. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that pose while we go upwards and onwards to the next one. See you on the flip. Right, boys and girls, this time we've got Morgan in a right pickle. He's finished all his ammo in his Winchester. He's just fired the shotgun, and now he's down to the blade. Like the Revenant, attacked by a grizzly up in the high mountains of Montana. You can see he's let his beard grow out, his hair grow out. So he's been away from civilization for quite a while. And he's just finished packing up when a grizzly rushed him out the bush. So he's got his faithful bowie with the false edge on top, the concave false edge, which some people used to sharpen. It helped in knife fights because people weren't expecting it to be sharpened. He's in a dope stance. I was just about to say, ready for bear. But he's got no choice. He has to be ready for bear because one's attacking him. And again, beautiful figure to pose, eh? So easy accepted, you know, into the line. His ankles, you can move those to get the proper purchase. So yeah, I'm super impressed, eh? Super impressed with him. He's really, really dope. I tried those rowels in the spurs just now, and every movement they just pop out. So I think if I was going for a pose in the display, I could put them in, but not while I'm moving him around like this. There's Arthur Morgan, soon to be back in civilization if he gets away from this bear. So I think we'll use one of these for the 360s. As I say, very dope figure, eh? Very dope figure to pose. And we still haven't used his kerchief for when he robs banks. So we've still got that to do. But nice figure, eh? Really, really nice figure. The quality of the clothing, the tailoring, the accessories, all super, super nice. And as I say, his body line just seems to fall into place. As you're posing it, it falls into place, which is always nice. It helps so much, eh? Because some poses can look awkward and, you know. So sometimes it takes a while to get the right pose. But with him, it's been relatively quick, which is nice, you know. It helps you a lot. Okay. So there you've seen the full bearded sculpt with hair. With long hair. And this sits quite nicely on this head sculpt. You don't see that little ledge just above his forehead for the hat. So yeah, suitably impressed with this head sculpt. The beard is done so well, eh? And even the knife shape, they've got that spot on. Oh, I'm loving me a bit of Morgan, yeah. You can hear it in my voice. Western nut. Even more so than Batman, I'd say. Okay. That's enough excitement for one morning. Let's get on with the job of posing. See you on the flip. It's with great trepidation and sadness in his heart that he has to leave the campfire behind, the mountains in the distance. He's a mountain man at heart and head back to civilization. I hope he's going to have a shave before he gets back. He's got his medicine bag, his war bag on his shoulder, his Winchester, his bandolier. Everything else is packed up in the saddlebags or on the horse. And he's ready for the off-ski. He's had some exciting times. Attacked by a bear. Fought Howzit, which is outlaws, just before he left tombstone, and he's hoping beyond hope they're not there when he gets back. So it's with great reluctance he leaves his campfire behind and heads back into town. This blue jacket's actually quite nice. The only shit thing about it is those gloved hands are extremely difficult to get on him once the jacket is on. Well, I found it difficult. I don't know about anybody else. I'm sure they're supposed to go, the cuffs of the gloves are supposed to go over the jacket. Well, I don't know, inside the jacket. I tried both ways. And I couldn't get it to work. Well, I'll tell a lie, I got one to work, but then it kept popping out with the pressure of the jacket sleeve. So maybe he goes into town to rob a bank. You never know. And he's going to have to put that waistband gun back, fully loaded, because those boys, I'm sure, will be awaiting for him. And I think that's why he looks so pensive. Extremely, extremely nice figure. Could even, as all the guys were saying, figure of the year. And for Lim Toys, I think that's quite an honor, because they've put some graft into this, eh? They've put some graft into this. The body's nice. The accessories are great. As I say, it's almost like a DX version from Hot Toys. You get that much with it. And look at the quality of the face sculpts. That's really dope, eh? Look at the hands. You can see the blue veins on top of the hands. Okay, that one's obscured. It's just, yeah, they've put little touches all over the place to make this figure pop. And pop it has, eh? Can you imagine if they'd given us die-cast weapons? Yeah, those would have been in seventh heaven. Well, I would have been. Back in South Africa, I carried a short barrel 357 Magnum Taurus with combat grips. A really nice gun to shoot. So when I see those peacemakers, the pistol that tamed the West, as they say, I get jealous. I want my gun back. There we go. So that would be the last pose of the series of poses. We now go over to 360s. And I'm sorry if I have to replicate one or two poses for the 360s. That's only because, you know, you can only do so much. But I'm looking forward to it. I do believe those owl hoots from town got Django the bounty hunter on his tail. And he knows Django, and Django knows him. So it should be quite an even matchup. What do you say, Arthur? Arthur Morgan, are you about to die? Alright. Please hit subscribe, like, comment. Go for the trifecta, man. Go for the trifecta, all three. We thank you all for watching. We thank you all for subscribing. You and your families all stay safe in these uncertain times. Me and Moate wish you all the best. And yeah, I'll see you in the groups, and I'll see you in the 360s. Peace out. Sacrilege of sacrilege. I almost finished without doing a gunfighter pose for the video. What the hell, Dale? So there he is. Both 6 guns drawn in the classic stance, legs bent at the knee and leading leg foot forward. Just in case things go awry, there he's got his trusty Bowie just in hand's reach. I mean, can you imagine looking down the barrel of 245s like this? You would literally yourself. I tell you what though, these last few weeks I've had such fun posing these figures, and I know I've got more to come, and it's been honestly like a privilege, because they're so dope to work with, man. Once you get on a roll of posing, you're sweet. And this one I've enjoyed most of all. As I say, we waited 3 years for this bad boy, and at times gave up hope that he wasn't going to happen. And lo and behold, like a Christmas angel, he comes just in time. So again, thank you TNS. Thanks Kevin for looking after me. And damn, he's a beautiful piece. I think I'll sleep with him on my pillow tonight, next to me. He's had some daring escapades during the course of this video. Attacked by a grizzly, showdown with Django, showdown with Wyatt Earp, and the boy is still standing. He must be part of the Sackett family from Louis L'Amour. That's his favourite family he likes to write about, is the Sacketts. Clinch Mountain Sacketts, where you get all sorts of Sacketts. Cut one, they all bleed. But look at him, man. He look, you gotta agree, he looks fantastic, eh? And he's saying looks so dope. Even dope-alicious in the display, alongside Django and Wyatt. So now all I need now is a Last of the Mohicans Hawkeye, and I'll be content for life. I mean, it's so easy to get nice poses when the piece you're posing just lends itself to the job. That honestly, this body is really, really nice, eh? Really, really nice. Let's go in for a overhead pan. So if you're looking out your first story window, that's what you would see. Very, very nice, Peter. Okay. Well, I had to do the 2 6-shooter pose. I just had to. I kept him for the 360s, but once I see him in the 360s, I had to do it for the posing session. And so I just want to see if we can zero in on that. Is it working? There we go. So that's what you would see. And that's bloody magnificent, eh? Really is. Okay, you can change now. Oh, I might have cocked that up, the whole shoot. I'll have to edit. I'll have to edit. Oh, he's nice, eh? And I know I haven't used the other boots, but I love these boots because you've got a lot more play in them to get better poses. Okay. Well, I just wanted to show you this, how dope he looks. And yeah, I'll see you on the flip.